Everything in string playing is prepared. We have to prepare something in order to perform an action. The fundamental of string playing is that the bow always starts on the string. So we need to make our students set the bow before they play. Not all of our students are very conscientious. Some of them, their minds are wandering or whatever, and they're hyper and they've got all this energy. Maybe they just came from lunch, where I'm sure they ate the most nutritious food available and not just simple carbohydrates. And so they get to your class and they get kind of squirrely. And a lot of times they forget to set the bow, but we have to make them set the bow. If the students aren't setting the bow, they're not going to have a prayer of being able to play intensity well. Why do we need to set the bow? Because we need to be able to grip the string. And again, when I'm talking about grip, I don't mean the way we grip the bow with our hands. I mean the way the bow hair grips the string. There has to be some shearing force. We have different types of force. We've got that vertical force, that weight that we put down the string, but we also have horizontal shearing force. And when I'm talking about grip, that's the type of force I'm talking about. We need to do this before every single note. And in this marcato style, the quarter notes are going to have some separation in between them, which means we need to re-grip for the next note. And we've got some rests. So the students are going to need to re-grip after every rest. If the students aren't gripping the string, the bows are going to be sliding, and particularly on the eighth notes, it's really going to sound bad. On the whole notes, we're not going to have enough activation to really make those whole notes sound present and clear. So we just need to really enforce setting the bow on the string, gripping the string, and then what I like to do is I like to have them wiggle the string to verify that they've got grip. So if you can set the bow on the string and you can wiggle your string back and forth without making any sound, you're gripping the string, you're doing it right. So there's a range of difficulty in preparing, because the more rest that we have, the more time we have to prepare. Here at the beginning, we have lots of rests and low strings. So it's going to give them plenty of time to set the bow, maybe even give it a little wiggle. In the violin viola parts, we have marcato quarter notes, hardly any time to reset at all. So basically, as we're stopping the first note and about to play the second note, that space in between is just us re-gripping the string. So if we break down this technique, probably the best place to start is where we have more time, where we have more rest to work with, and then try to evolve that technique to the marcato quarter notes. A good intermediary in between the two is right here at measure 35, because we've got quarter rest, quarter notes, so we don't have a lot of rest, but we do have some to grip the string. And I think that might be a good starting place for marcato style. If we're struggling, we need to reduce the tempo. If we're playing marcato quarter notes at 144 and we can't get a good marcato sound, well, maybe we can get it at quarter note equals 72. Drop the tempo by half. If 72 is too fast, drop it down even more. And if we're going down too low, we probably don't have good bow hands. There's probably some other technique we need to work on. And if we're never going to be able to get it up to 144, maybe this isn't the best choice for your orchestra. Maybe you should try this later. Establishing grip on the string, it takes some technique to do, but once we have that technique, our technique will spiral upwards instead of spiraling downwards, because we're gripping the string, and that's going to create some resistance on the string, and we're going to have more of a natural bow stroke. The friction from our bow hair to the string is going to help shape our bow motion. Whereas if we're not gripping the string and the bows are sliding, our technique is going to be forced. It's going to be jerky. It's going to be unnatural. Now, normally, redundant bowings in the notation, they're irritating to me when I see, down bows where they don't need to be down bows, because I think that there's some kind of a bow change indicator other than just as it comes. However, in this piece, I kind of like it because I use the down bows to reinforce grip. Every time you see a down bow, make sure you're gripping the string. Hey, guess what? We need grip in our soft sections too. If we don't grip the string, it's not going to sound intense. And the name of the piece is intensity. So we got to be intense even in the piano sections. We got to grip the string. In the soft sections, we can use less bow hair and we can use less vertical weight, less vertical force, and we can use more shearing force Again, so that we have good articulations. And the intensity in the soft section is going to come from our articulations. And to articulate right, we need to make sure that we're saying the bow, gripping the string. The piano sections in this piece are a great litmus test for whether or not we're playing the technique correctly and whether or not we have a good handle on the style. Can you grip, wiggle the string, play, and still play soft? That's the test. And that's why this piece is so cool. In the last video, I'm going to talk about common problems that you might have with your orchestra while playing intensity. I've heard this piece played quite a bit in competitions, and orchestras tend to have the same sort of problems. And so I just keep track, I keep a list of the common problems, and I try to give everybody a heads up on what to look for, where the pitfalls are, and some strategies on how to overcome those. So I hope to see you in the common problems video.